today. 203 here on the air.
Hey guys, how you doing?
How are you?
What up?
I'm doing all right. Hey, you're being rated in a unpleasant way by my friends that all know that we live on a flat stationary plane out of the ball, and we'd love to talk to you guys about it.
Sure, I want to hear all about it. Go ahead. You have the floor, sir.
There's so much to talk about. I mean, people have a misconception that we live on a, when they say flat Earth,
flat earther is
none of that is true.
Calling somebody a flat earther is become somewhat of an insult.
It has, but now that is changing because now it's a globe earther is the insult because you just believe in this ridiculous story that you've been told and programmed with since the beginning of your life. Everything has globes in it, and none of it makes any sense when you take the time to look.
How do you, sir? This is a revelation to me. How do you explain, I don't know, the Apollo missions and several orbits of the Earth? How would you explain
day
that?
and night? Like how to?
Yeah. I don't know. Educate me.
So here I'm gonna tell you a video to watch. It's called Flat Earth 21 Questions. A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions. Write that down. Okay. Find that video. Watch that later. But the way it works is first, the Apollo missions never happened. NASA is a lie. The only thing they've ever sent into space is your imagination.
Really?
Yeah, rocket ships are helium balloons with fireworks that push them up. They curve over and they crash into the ocean. And within a minute or two after launch, you're looking at CGI on the television screen.
Well, how did they do CGI in 1969?
Well, it wasn't CGI then. It was really, if you go back and look at
just like a young George Lucas.
What about the Columbia though?
What about Columbia? Yeah.
By the way, so in that video I told you to go watch, one of the questions is about that. Those astronauts and those people that were on there are still alive today.
Were they beamed out by Scotty?
All of the people that were on that mission are alive today.
Yes.
And they claim to be their identical twin.
How about the challenge?
Flat Earth was. What was the number you gave me? Flat Earth. What?
Flat Earth 21 questions.
A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions.
It's
by a YouTuber called ODD Reality.
Yeah. Now you're fucking.
Actually, if you go to ODD Reality, there's a 24/7 stream with the best Flat Earth information on it. And if you just watch that, you'll stop laughing within a day.
Oh. Well, yeah.
So why doesn't the water fall off the edge of the flat Earth?
I didn't think of that, but because I guess I'm just in that old way of thinking. You're red pilling me, you know.
So here, I'll give you
me an answer.
50-second explanation of the flat Earth, so you can kind of wrap your head across not around it. So imagine a big football field of ice.
Okay.
And we'll call that the flat plane that we live on.
Okay.
And then imagine a melted puddle in the middle of that that has pieces of land in it. We live in a melted thermal pocket. The center is the North Pole, which is magnetic, and the outer shore is Antarctica. It surrounds us, and everything past that shore, we don't know what's there. We don't know how far it goes, but it's flat and stationary.
Let me ask you this: I was on a C-180 to Iraq, and I could sort of see the curvature of the Earth when I was up there, because we're pretty high, you know. What was I looking at? What was I seeing?
So I'll tell you what you're looking at.
Okay.
We can see a certain distance in all directions. So let's say I can see X number of feet, miles, whatever you want to call it. And if you look straight forward at 12 o'clock, you see that distance. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. You draw that around. You connect all those dots, you're seeing a big flat circle, but your programming tells you that it's a sphere. But you're seeing a curved flat line.
Man,
that's
I feel stupid.
NASA even admits that you have to be like 50,000 feet or higher, or maybe it's even higher. I'm not sure of the number. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Before you can see curvature. We've sent balloons up 120,000 feet. Horizon's perfectly flat.
No kidding. So is it a big cube like the Borg?
No, it's not a big cube. It's an endless or infinitely wide.
It's like a flat
plane.
sheet. It's like a flat sheet.
And there could be other thermal pockets. This is why no one's allowed to travel freely to the outer shores of Antarctica, because there may be more land out there.
I thought it was
likely.
So this is like
land.
So like if you keep you can just keep going. You know, you're not like if you leave Los Angeles, you're not gonna like you're not gonna if you go all the way around, you're not gonna come back to New Jersey. You know, if
we lived on a ball, you could circumnavigate the planet in any direction you want.
Yeah.
But nobody has ever circumnavigated the planet north to south.
North to
It's
south,
only circumnavigated east to west.
Yeah.
And whenever your ships captains will tell you when they're heading east or west, they constantly have to correct to the north to maintain their heading. Because if they dead reckoned east, they'd end up going south. Because you're making a circle.
You
around
put
the
an awful lot of
center
work
point.
into. You put an. Are you also like the head of the Kekistan army? I mean, you put an awful lot of work to a troll.
So I
bro.
used to do a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole for 3 years. It's a very popular podcast.
Why did you stop?
Early on, what's that?
Why did you stop?
Why did I stop?
Yeah.
Well, you should go listen to it and you'll figure
Did
it
the
out.
men in black?
But
Did
people
the men in
started
black
coming
come in
telling me the
and
Earth
flash you or something?
Hold on. People started coming and telling me the Earth was flat, and for 6 months,
Really?
I ignored them.
Yes.
I banned them from social media. I refused to look. And then finally, a prominent researcher said, "You got to look
Who?
at this."
Who?
And then I went in to try to debunk it. And anyone that tries to debunk it becomes a flat earther.
Who was this prominent researcher?
Sophia Smallstorm.
It sounds like somebody I battled in World of Warcraft. Sophia Sof. It sounds like an end boss.
Maybe. Look her up. Look her up. You'll see how prominent she is.
All right. I appreciate the call there, flat earther guy.
All right, guys. Hey, look, A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth, 21 questions. Take the time, watch it.
Just tell your loser friends.
Your mind.
All right, I did this
It'll
too.
blow your mind.
Tell your loser friends to fucking subscribe, and then I'll be a happy guy.
Don't call them losers. They'll end up thumbing you down. We want to thumb you up because we want to educate you guys.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
We want you guys to
Thank
learn.
you.
I feel enlightened.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Peace out.
Bye.